Hello everyone, it's Ashley again, and I am just filming a new video. And basically what I wanted to talk about in this video was, if for some odd reason you haven't heard about the Passion Planner, or you were thinking about trying a Passion Planner and you were still kind of on the fence about it, or you just wanted to know a little bit more how it could be useful for you, I just wanted to go ahead and discuss some of the things that I found useful using a Passion Planner, and just some things about realistically managing your time, and just some things that the Passion Planner really helped me with. So I apologize in advance for two things. One, I'm filming on my phone, so this could be a little shaky at times. And two, if you catch a glimpse of my messy desk, I apologize. I'm currently preparing for a really big national exam, and so my desk is filled with books and highlighters and things of that nature. So let's get right into it. This is my Passion Planner. It's the limited edition Paradise Blue. Absolutely love this color. I'm losing daylight, so you can't really see the color 100%, but here, let me just grab my Filofax Aqua Malden, and I can compare the colors. You can see this is an Aqua Malden pocket size, and this is the Paradise Blue. So you can see it's not too completely far off from that Aqua Malden color, but it's not 100%, but it's still really beautiful. I absolutely love it. Okay, so getting into it, I'll just turn right to my last monthly spread so you can see. So this was my monthly spread for June, and I used this planner for the entire month of June, but I did not use it for July, and I'm not using it right now because for one, book July I went into my pocket and I've kind of stayed in it, and that's just where I'm at right now. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of like what I was doing before. So before, I was planning in either a day per page or a day on 2 pages. I can show you. This is my personal size Filofax, and this is what it kind of looked like. These were the day per pages. So what I was doing before is I was literally taking this whole chunk right here and filling it up with things that I needed to do. Whether or not those were things that I could actually do, I really wasn't taking into consideration. I just was wanting to fill every single line because I just had this really strange stigma that if there weren't tasks on each line, then I wasn't doing something right. And I don't exactly know where that mindset came from. I don't know if anyone else can relate, if you've ever had that mindset. And a lot of the times I didn't really have a purpose for the notes section. I would either write a quote, or if there was just something random that needs to be written there, I'd write it there. And also what I found was happening was that the things that I had tasked out for that day, I wasn't nearly getting as close to completing those tasks as I thought that I would. So I would let's guesstimate and say there's about 15 lines here. I would task out 15 tasks to complete for the day, and maybe 3 or 4 of them would get done. So I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm not getting anything done. What's wrong with me? I'm unproductive. And really, it wasn't that I was being unproductive. It was just that I was being unrealistic about what I could actually do in a day. And because I wasn't assigning tasks to a specific time, I was just kind of like, oh, when it gets done, it gets done. And unless I was going to something that was actually scheduled, like class or work or an appointment or a meeting, there was no time slots. It was kind of just like, oh, I just kind of do it when I do it, and that's that. So there was no structure. It was just a to-do list with no structure and with no end goal in mind. So that was not working out. And when it was 2 days on a day for 2 pages, or 2 pages per day. I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't say that right. That was even worse. So I don't know what made me decide to get the Passion Planner, but I'm glad that I did. It has helped me out tremendously to go from a day on 2 pages to a weekly spread. I was just like, oh my goodness, what am I doing? Why am I purchasing this? My brain was just trying to work out how I was going to complete this mission prior to me even, receiving the planner. I had already placed the order. I hadn't received the planner yet. And I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to plan in this? Like, did I buy it just because the color was pretty? Like, what was I thinking? This was probably the worst decision I've ever made in my life. And I was really freaking out about it. I was watching YouTube videos of other people's passion planners. And what I found a lot is that I was coming across a lot of people who were students who use this as a passion plan, like who use this planner. And that's all good and well, and I definitely am a student, but I also work, and I also own a business, and I'm also a wife. And so all those things I needed to encompass into this planner, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is going to be horrible. It's going to be a horrendous experiment. But it actually ended up being the greatest thing ever. So first things first, Passion Planner teaches you how to plan with an end goal in mind, and not just one goal. When you come here and you do your passion roadmap, and mine's is even, excuse the mess, guys. Mine's is even up here on my wall. I printed out the big one, the free printable, and I printed it out up there just so that even if my passion planner was closed, or, now that I'm not in my passion planner, I still have that passion plan. That's still something that's constant and a reminder and something for me to be mindful of. So coming back into this, one of the things that it says to do is like write down every single goal. It doesn't matter what kind of goal it is, whether you think it's frivolous, whether you think it's accomplishable, whether you think that it's just a silly idea. It doesn't matter. If that's your goal, if that's something that comes to mind, if that's something that you want to do, then you write it down. And then it doesn't tell you to prioritize. Like, I put what was like the first thing I wanted to accomplish. Like, I just put down what was a priority to me. It doesn't tell you to do that. That was just me, because still I had to break it down even further. But seeing this at a bigger scale, seeing that, hey, even though within the next month to 3 months there's this goal that I want to accomplish, there's still a bigger goal and an even bigger goal. And that should always be, kind of just playing in the background, because you can lose sight of it so quickly. And the minute that you do, your whole game plan gets off track, and you're no longer planning with a purpose. You're just planning to plan. You're just writing things in a book, and you're kind of just going about your day aimlessly. And even though some things may get accomplished, like you may get the dishes done, and you may get the laundry done, and you may complete an assignment, and you may complete a project, but you're still not working with the end goal in mind, and you're kind of just ticking off tasks, but you're not really honing in on a goal. You're not really focusing truly. And so I just feel like this system works better for that. So moving into my month here, I'll just show you. I didn't really use it exactly how I thought I would. In prior planners, like, my month was covered in everything. And I had like work schedules and appointments and all kinds of craziness all over my month, and it got a little hard for me to actually see what was going on my days. But now how it works is that I only put like really important bullet things. Like, I had a volunteer meeting that I had to go to. That was the most important thing I needed to do that day, other than my work schedule, but that's a given. So, this is something that's out of the norm, that doesn't happen every day. And I know that if I go to a meeting and they say, hey, we have this event going on the 23rd, can you make it? And I open up my planner, I don't have to flip through all my weeks and get to the week of the 23rd if that's not the week we're on. I can just look at my month and say, nope, I have a meeting during that time. and it's really important. I can't miss that meeting, so I have to be there. I can't make it to what this event that is that you're trying to get me to do. So that was basically what I was using my month for. And also just some things like Q4 ended on the 15th of June. And Q1 began on the 16th of June. This is just some things for Mary Kay that's important for, enrolling customers in programs and stuff. And then right here it says places to go. I didn't use that for places to go. I used that for my sales goals for the month. And then there was just people to see. I actually did need that month. But the following month, I think I ended up using it for something different. And then I had like things for school up here. But it really made me realize that I didn't need as much of the space as I thought. So let's go into one of my weeks, and then we can talk more about how this helped me to realistically time manage. So on top of this being, great for goal planning, this is a wonderful time management system. And it just helped me to assign my tasks to a time. Instead of assigning time to a task, I'm assigning a task to a time. And I know that sounds really weird, but I'm going to try to help you understand. So let's break it down. I'll give you an example of when I was not utilizing my time realistically. This is a time that I slotted out to complete work for a class. And as you can see, I had all these little lines, and what do I like to do with my lines? I like to make sure they're filled out with things for me to do. But realistically, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., there was no way that all this work was going to get completed. It was unrealistic for me to sit here and list out these things. Now, this may not be a problem for anyone else. This may be only my problem. But just in case it is a problem for someone else, I really want to draw in attention to this because this was a big struggle for me. And this was probably my struggle in undergrad too, which is why I was always overwhelmed and flustered. But if you look at the rest of my week, I have time slotted out and nothing is written there because these weren't even completed until the week was over. So I didn't even write new tasks for me to do because I was still trying to do the task that I assigned myself to do that first day. So it was just unrealistic for me to plan my life that way. And that is literally how I would do everything. So after this week happened, you go to the next week. And as you can see, there's erase marks all over the place because the things that I had planned out, I was like, there's no way. There's no way that I'm going to do the things that I said I was going to do in the time slots that I gave myself. I'm not being realistic about how I work, how my productivity level is, and especially with the way that I study, I'm a very meticulous studier. I'm a meticulous note taker. Those things take time. This class being a self-paced class, that was okay because it was self-paced and I could go at my own pace. But it really was a wake-up call for me, like, wow, not only was I using way too much space that I didn't need because the weekly spread ended up being perfect. Being able to sit here and say, oh, wow, this is my whole week. I can see everything that I need to do for that whole week. And, really writing things into the little check boxes that I made for myself was the best thing that I could have thought of for me, because I wrote in, oh, this is when I'm going to do gym and all that stuff. And then say if I wanted to do the dishes, let's go to a week that has some cleaning. Okay, so I was like, I can do the dishes at 10 a.m. So I did the dishes at 10 a.m. on Sunday, check mark. And then we can go to church. And then I have some free time here. And then I'll do work. I'll do schoolwork. And then I have to drop off my timesheets. I'm going to do that at 10 a.m. the next day, And then I have all my gym times in here. And I had to go to the post office, but I didn't do it. So I wrote a little arrow, that's from Franklin Covey. That's one of their symbols. So I did post office the next day, and then I have groceries, and then I have, oh, I'm going to spend this time to check my email. Like everything had an assigned task. So it still looks like a to-do list. Like